notorious bandit leader Dankarami holds communities under siege. Communities such as Gidan Jaja and others in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state and many others in Jibia local government area in Katsina state are held under siege by a notorious unrepentant bandit leader called Dankarami, which means small. Okay, he ruled over the nearby Jaja forest from where he terrorizes villagers. He is among many other bandit leaders terrorizing communities in Zamfara and neighboring states at a time when key leaders in the state appear to be more concerned about politics and the race for 2023. A former chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association of Zamfara State, Barrister Bello Galadi, said rural communities, especially in Zamfara, are virtually not under government control, lamenting that they are more concerned about political influence than forming a strong force to liberate their people. Okay. I mean, what else can you say about that? Is really bad. So now we're going to go into Dankarami and his shenanigans. Dankarami, also called Gwaska, is still in his early 30s and commands a group of well-armed bandits numbering not less than 500 according to locals. His boys are notoriously known as Yam Shabakwai, or the quote teenagers, because they are mostly young and responsible for most of the abductions, cattle rustling, and series of deadly raids on dozens of communities in that axis. A resident familiar with Dankarami's background and operations told Daily Trust Saturday. A video clip released on social media platforms recently gave a rare glimpse into the look of Dankarami and his operations. He was seen holding meetings with community leaders, including police officers, where he was boasting about his prowess and successes, including sacking villages and killing security operatives. Credible sources said Dankarami was born in a settlement called Lambargabas in Rukudawa district of Zurmi local government area, where he now owns a mansion consisting of more than 38 rooms, a mosque, and an Islamaya school. His settlement is situated not more than 2 kilometers of Rukudawa, a farming community that has suffered a series of deadly assaults by armed bandits for more than a decade. His residence is heavily fortified by armed men and has become rendezvous for herders and all sorts of criminals. In fact, no one can risk going there unless if you are one of their apologists. The source, who craved for anonymity for fear of attack, told one of our reporters. Dankarami does not normally give his settlement to carry out attacks. He is always at the comfort of his house. However, he gives nods for attacks on communities at will. All sorts of weapons could be found with him, the source said. The bandit leader is said to be living with his father called Buddha and maternal grandfather identified as Mayara Dandela, Dankarami's uncle called Kundu, and other notorious bandit leader was killed in a gang war some time back. He became notorious in armed banditry with the full support of his father, but he does not see eye to eye with his maternal grandfather following the latter's effort to convince him to shun his ugly business. Okay, cool. So again, I mean, it's actually embarrassing that the government would say they have no control over communities like that, but you are the governor of the state. It doesn't mean that you are controlling or you are in charge of just one section of the state. So your answer basically being, oh, but we have no control of those areas, doesn't give the right impression that you are able and willing to deal with situations like this. Like, what do you mean by that? So basically you're saying that's not our area, so you're going to leave them to be under attack. What can you do? Because this person that we're just hearing of all of a sudden, I mean, we are used to the names of the others that are in other groups, but then now you have a whole new person who has built a school, built a mansion with a mosque. It's like, okay, this person is pretty settled, and for some reason the people in those areas have not even raised alarm for the fact that they have basically an intruder that is running things for them. And it's just like, how does that make sense? It literally does not make sense at all. So yeah, another person here says, where is the federal government's security apparatus, DSS, Army, Air Force? To me, it's a shame to hear that this kind of high-profile murderer, Dan Karami, is reigning supreme in Zamfara, and the governor of the state and mayor, including politicians, are pampering him. They're not pampering him. They're just not interested in. They're not interested in fixing the situation. So that's where it ends. That's where it ends for them, basically. Somebody says they are busy arresting in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Another Boko Haram leader, you're foolishly calling him bandits. Again, like the word bandits does not describe the severity and the intensity at which these crimes are happening. Listen, you cannot. Bandits is a word that is best appropriate for petty crimes and petty criminals. You don't use bandits for people that have AK-47s. Doesn't make sense. The word is not appropriate, and then that sort of trivializes the whole situation. And then, of course, with the northern part of the country that do not literally, they don't react to these kind of situations. They do not even try to call their own to order, call them and be like, listen, this is confusing. This is not right. What is going on? You know, sad. Somebody here says the reportage is highly unprofessional and is highly professional and credible, but GSS won't go after him. He's doing his legitimate business. But those after succession must die. You won't stop your cancer from growing, and you must force good people from severing it from their space. Someone says dialogue offer, but they have declared IGBOHO and Kanu fugitives. I mean, technically, only Kanu was a proper fugitive. I mean, Sunday IGBOHO was like attempt fugitive kind of person where he couldn't really fully leave the country because now everyone is out here looking for him. The borders are now very tight. His passport number has been released. So I don't know how, but yeah, it's highly unlikely that it's not unlikely that Igboho will get to a stage where he's a fugitive. I genuinely think it is likely that he might be caught by the Nigerian government, and that would be even worse for him. I'm not sure, but again, if they have the resources, and if they want to pull it together, they would. For anybody, well, not anybody, but anyone that seems to be a threat to their plan in 2023 to remain in power, I guess that's what it is. Put what you think about it, and don't forget to like and subscribe.